Minister, I have to say I'm very disappointed with your response. It was termed glib, and another word used. It certainly was. I was listening to it carefully in my office. First of all, I want to thank Sinn Féin for bringing this, and of course, what's being proposed here, that we repeal Section 2 of the 2017 Act. The 2017 Act, I read the second stage and the speech made by Owen Murphy at the time, and that was to undo the charges brought in a previous Act 2013. But unfortunately, you left Section 2 in this, which gives complete openness in terms of introducing charges. I'm glad you're shaking your head, you see, and if we're so wrong on this side, I'll be the first to say that, and, you know, I wish I could believe you. But we've seen in relation to the triple lock what's going to happen. We've seen solemn promises, we've seen declarations, and it's very difficult to have trust. And if I, as a politician, don't have trust, it's very difficult for me to instil trust in people on the ground. So I will go with Sinn Féin in relation to repealing that Section 2, because it leaves it wide open. But more generally, we cannot deal with water other than as a basic human right. So is housing, by the way. And Joan Collins, and I want to pay tribute to the former deputy, did tremendous work in relation to that, and tabling a bill to enshrine water as a basic human right in our constitution. Unfortunately, it hasn't happened, and I wish it was. And so we're here, instead of dealing with how best to conserve water and bring people on board, we're looking at this. Let me say, in my experience in Galway, we led the way in recycling. I often get bored here listening to reduce, reuse and recycle, because 24 years we were doing it in Galway. There were questions about where the rubbish was going to, but we theoretically had a brilliant service. It was privatised and absolutely destroyed, really. And my problem is that we're looking on people as the problem. People want to do something about climate change. They want to do something about water conservation, but the duplicity of successive governments makes it very difficult to support you. So if we go back to water, and I spent 17 years at the local council level, and 40-something%, I don't need to exaggerate, somewhere between 40 and 50% was utterly wasted running into the ground, and no resources given to the expertise who on the ground, who knew exactly where all the water leakages were. Instead of that, you set up Aisghairm so it could be used and abused when it suited the government, rather than leaving it with the local authorities and actually resourcing them. That didn't happen. So we're back here again, rather than dealing in a positive way, how do we bring everyone on board in relation to water conservation? We're holding off the tide, as it were, of mistrust, and quite clearly Section 2 allows you to bring, albeit in the guise of levies and thresholds and so on, but then reducing it to appeals by people with medical problems to appeal to Aisghairm. I don't do business that way. Water is a basic human right.